great Elden Ring was shattered in our home across the fog, the lands between.
Welcome back to Must Play Reviews. Elden Ring is upon us once again with its new DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree. Let's take a look at the base game and DLC so you can decide if you want to play or pass. Elden Ring and its DLC is a massive undertaking for From Software in the visual department. Usually they stick to smaller levels with that Metroidvania influence. Elden Ring takes that approach and adds a huge open world into the mix. Each biome could be a singular world that would be bigger than most of the games that they have made. The first thing you see when stepping out into the lands between is the massive golden Erdtree, with its branches spreading to every corner of the map. The game takes you to the depths of the earth with lakes of scarlet rot, an ancient city called Noxtella that looks like a space nebula, to the peak of a snow-covered mountain that is the home of the giants. It's a world full of ancient mysticism and intrigue around every corner. And if the beauty of the open world is not enough, the lands are littered with catacombs, caves, dungeons, and magnificent castles full of hidden passages and secrets. With every step you take, there is something new to be discovered. And as far as the world goes, it's not static. The trees and grass blow with the wind, and even more so during storms. Plus, the beauty of the golden Erdtree leaves falling from the sky, granting an XP buff, is simply stunning. As with any From Software game, the characters and enemy designs are standout, either invoking beauty and intrigue or darkness and cruelty, like Melina and Reyna, or Margit the Fell and the Star-Scourge Radahn. The characters are every bit as interesting as the world itself. Now the sad part is that the performance is still not great. The world still suffers from pop-in and frame rate drops, with no fix in sight. Sadly, this is nothing new for From Software, as they never fixed Bloodborne either. There is one good way to play the game though, and that is the PS4 version running on a PS5. It is the only way to have good performance, even over PC, because PC version suffers from stutter. I was hoping the DLC would fix this, but it didn't. The Shadow of the Erdtree DLC continues the great visual stylings of the base game, but now with a darker tone, giving some unique coloring to some of the areas, it looks incredible. Riding on Torrent through these lands as the tall blades of grass move and sway looks better than the grass from the base game. The Cerulean Coast is something special to see at nighttime. There are these beautiful blue flowers covering the ground, giving off an eerie glow that is just mesmerizing. To me, it seems that the DLC is heavily inspired by Bloodborne, Demon's Souls, and Dark Souls 3. One area of the Cerulean Coast, there's a beach that looks and feels like you're about to fight the boss from the Old Hunters DLC, the Orphan of Cause. There's a dark swamp with a mansion that from the outside looks like it should be from Resident Evil, but on the inside, it looks like the ruins of the library from Bloodborne. And if you've played Demon's Souls, some of the areas will remind you of the Nexus. They even have the Monumental sitting there. It is a very big world with a lot to explore and subtle nods to past games, keeping it interesting every step you take. If you have played a Souls game before, most of what exists in Elden Ring is familiar. Some things set Elden Ring apart though from past games. Stealth was added. This new ability to sneak up and get a critical attack changes some encounters and gives you the edge in battle. We also have the Ashes of War that add modification to weapons like blood attacks, poison, and scarlet rot. Some can even give you special attacks that are devastating like the Frost Stomp. Spirit Ashes allow you to summon spirits of certain enemy types like wolves, mage, or the best of them, which is the Mimic tier, that recreates you with all of your armor and whatever you have equipped. Now the big bonus of this Spirit Ash is that when you are fighting a boss, it does not count as a co-op player, which would make the bosses harder. Because the size of the world is so big, you needed a better way to get around, and that's where Torrent comes in. A mystical horse goat thing that can double jump. He can be used in combat, and finding places that contain secrets, or just trying to get somewhere that you shouldn't, like on top of rocks just to place a message. Now, for the DLC, it has some changes to it, but the first thing you need to know, to be able to reach the DLC, you must beat Star-Scourge Radahn and Mog, then touch the egg where you fought Mog at, to enter the Shadow of Erdtree area. Your level doesn't matter as much in the DLC, it comes down to finding these fragments from the Skadoo tree. Using these fragments makes you able to handle the damage that the enemies dish out. Even Torrent has his own upgrade material, which are necessary for him not to get one shot every time you ride out across open areas. When it comes to the bosses, they step them up in difficulty. They are faster and more unforgiving, similar to how Bloodborne bosses work. That's why, in my opinion, you need stamina to be able to dodge. Also, you have to use your talismans, buffs against damage, and the great runes to survive these encounters. It is hard but forgiving at the same time because of the stakes of Marika and the amount of grace sites there are, so getting back to the boss isn't an issue. The music is great, but the best thing about the audio is that the voices are kept to a minimum when words are spoken. They carry meaning with reverb and presence that makes you wonder what is going on, all while the sounds of battle and the roar of dragons and monsters set the mood, and with a subwoofer turned up, it will shake your house. The story is set in the lands between underneath the Erdtree. There is a lot of lore, and most of it is found in the description of weapons and items, like most From Software games. You are tarnished, and it is your goal to restore the shattered Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord, guided by the maiden Melina. The ring was shattered, and its fragments are known now as Great Runes, which are held by the demigods that have plunged the realm into chaos. Elden Ring and its DLC Shadow Erdtree both have breathtaking visuals with an open world and familiar gameplay mechanics. It is big and sometimes feels overwhelming. While the performance and troublesome pop-ins still exist, the gameplay and detailed environments are magical. So, what do you think? Are you going to play or pass? Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this review, would you kindly leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest content.